This is always the fun part. Technology and waiting, and the wheels are spinning, and we're being redirected, and all of those wonderful things. And we are live. Good day, good day. My name is Makeba Evans. I'm a global real estate always professional. The fun part. Technology and waiting, and the wheels are spinning. I got feedback being redirected with the lives and all of those wonderful things. Dang, there we go. All right. Take two live. I am Makeba Evans, global real estate professional, licensed since 2018, right before COVID, adapting to all of those wonderful things that life took us to the left and the right for, and transitioning to helping to improve people's state of that humble abode in the fact that we all need a place to live and call home and create those wonderful memories in the walls. And I am licensed in the state of Georgia. I can assist people in all 50 states and several countries. And I love to take things virtual. I mentioned COVID because it opened up those lanes for us to reach out and touch people. So again, I am a real estate professional. I have agents who I train as a coach. And for those of you who are real estate professionals, thank you for tuning in. And for those of you who are potential clients, thank you as well. We have Kelly Martin in our room. She is a mortgage professional in these real estate streets with me as well, coming on here to help explain how we can make sure that journey for the real estate professional and their client is the best one, as we are helping to get that magnificent, the most expensive thing that most of us purchase in our lives, our homes. And of course, you that are buyers, getting your mindset situated. We know that a lot of people are Googling and looking for things online and hoping that AI is giving you the correct information. But we have a mortgage professional in the room with us that is going to answer a lot of those heavy questions to get you financially ready. So Kelly, please tell people a little bit about you.
Hello, everyone. As Makeba said, I'm Kelly Martin, and I work for Edge Home Finance. I am a mortgage strategist, or as many people call a mortgage loan officer, but I like to call myself a strategist because, you know, every mortgage is not the same. So therefore, we need a strategy to get you into a mortgage that actually fits you. I am licensed in 49 out of the 50 states. For some reason, New York does not want me. I'm not sure why, but guess what? The other 49 do. So that's all that matters. But no, seriously, I am here to help you. I'm here to help you finance your home in any way that is possible, which is why this conversation that Makeba and I are about to have is so integral. It is so important because front loading things in the mortgage world is so huge. The last thing you want is to get to an underwriter's table and they're like, we do not approve you, and you didn't look for this home for months. It's your dream home, and you're like, hold on, why can't I get it? Like, where are the funds at? And the funds just aren't there. So that's the biggest reason why Makeba and I are about to have this conversation about the rules of two and pre-approvals and things of the like and income sources. So yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, in the beginning of my real estate career, just being so excited and having a client that wants to go window shop basically is what it is. And
Mhm.
we're spending time as real estate professionals in our cars, gas, getting all of the conversations, the schedulings, the showings, and having that conversation too early, and that's something that I want the buyers to know how important it is to speak to a mortgage professional, mortgage strategist like yourself, and the newbies in the real estate streets to know how important it is to make sure that your buyer client is ready to hop in your car. We know time is precious and it's we can't replace it. So
Right.
Kelly, please tell us what the importance of a pre-approval is for a buyer, for an agent.
Oh, no, definitely, definitely. So for a buyer, I want you to envision Atlanta in December when it's, I mean, or January when it's kind of cold outside, you know what I mean? And you're just driving down the street and you look to your right and you see this home for sale and you're like, oh my God, like I love that home, gotta have it. Like, oh my goodness. So you call your real estate agent up and you're like, hey, I'm at 123 Rainbow Street, or it's 123 Sesame Street. And I just found this gorgeous home that I really like, I have to have it. And so your agent is like, oh yeah, that's great. Now let's figure out if you can afford it. Right? Because the last thing you want as a buyer is for you to have filet mignon taste and you only got cheeseburger money, right? And again, we will find you a home with the cheeseburger money, but just know that if you can only afford say $1,500 a month, but you're looking at a $600,000 home, yeah, it's just not going to gel, right? So the importance to a buyer for pre-approval is knowing how much house you can afford. So you'll have a conversation with me up front, and we'll fill out the application. I'll look at your income, I'll look at your assets, I'll look at your liabilities. How much are you currently paying out in order to determine how much home you can comfortably afford. Because another thing you don't want to be is house poor either. So you might be able to afford a $500,000 home, but the last thing you want is to only be able to afford a $500,000 home and not be able to travel the world or even buy $4 a gallon gas, because that would be horrible. So as a buyer, it's for you to figure out how much home you can afford. Of course, for an agent, it's for you not to waste your time, right?
Mhm.
It you again, as Makeba said, you are spending your $4 a gallon gas driving around trying to, show these homes. And the last thing you want is to be showing a home to someone who, by the time you get to the underwriter table, they are denied.
Yeah.
Right. Because I'm sure I mean, I know I can't see y'all, but show of hands, how many times have you all gotten to the underwriter table and financing fell through? And that is like a blow to your ego, a blow to your heart, a blow to your paycheck.
Yeah.
And the last thing you want to do is waste your time. And then me as the mortgage strategist, the reason why pre-approvals are so important, again, is to ensure I like to front load things. So I like for everything, I like to get as much information about you as possible and as much documentation about the borrowers as possible in order to ensure that, yes, once we get in front of an underwriter, there won't be 70 conditions or 30 conditions that have to be met before closing. And a condition is basically stating, hey, this is what I need to see in order for me to approve the loan. That's what the underwriter needs to see. We don't want so many conditions that we might go past the closing date because we can't meet them. So yes, it tells you how much you can afford.
Thank you. And you said so many things that I would love to touch on. Yes, real estate professionals, we want to value our time. We are counselors on so many levels as mortgage strategists, real estate professionals, and it depends on where you are connected to the person in the process. So you may know a mortgage strategist that you speak to first that does all of those things necessary to get you ready to purchase your house. A lot of people meet the real estate professional first, and then we make the introduction or give several recommendations for the mortgage strategist to have the conversation with. So however that introduction begins, we have a very close relationship. The buyer client, the real estate professional, and the mortgage strategist. Now, it's not that Kelly was going to tell me your financials. Like, as a real estate professional, I don't want to know your personal finances at all. And Kelly wouldn't share them either, but the fact that we are communicating and we know what that comfortable mortgage payment is that Kelly mentioned. Something too, it's very rare with the real estate agents that I deal with, because we've been in these real estate streets so long, that you're going to make it to the closing table and the deal is going to fall apart because of um, a lack of something that our mortgage strategist didn't do. So unfortunately, sometimes you'll encounter a mortgage professional that isn't doing all of those marvelous things to make sure that you are ready to purchase your home. And Kelly's going to touch on that right quick, but I want to talk about we want you to window shop to keep you motivated. We don't want you to be disappointed by opening doors of homes that are so out of your price point right now that it deters you from taking that step. Because there is power in being the owner of a condo, a townhouse, a duplex, a single family residence, a stepping stone, something to get you your foot in the door, for you to begin your journey. Because this first property, when we're speaking, this is going to be your first investment property. This is going to need a little love, some honey-do lists going on, so you can prepare it to get it ready to sell later, or use it as an investment property where you have a renter in there, and then you go ahead to your next home. So by making sure that you're having that conversation, we help to keep you focused. I have something that I like to call a safe word. With my clients, we've picked these three must-haves, in their home, and then we're out shopping and we're going to see all sorts of things when we open doors to homes. And we just have that safe word to get you back focused to that original plan that we had together. So thank you, Kelly, so much for unwrapping so much of that. And I want to ask you about the rule of twos.
Okay. So, I know I'm gonna sound corny and I'm gonna date myself, but MC Hammer had a song called Too Legit to Quit, right? Too legit to quit, right? And so I like to think of that when I think of the rule of twos, because I want your pre-approval to be so airtight and that it's done so correctly and thoroughly that it's too legit to quit, right? Therefore,
Hey, hey.
it's it's just like an underwriter giving you an approval stating, "Hey, yes, we can you are approved for this loan." Right? That's just how sound I want your pre-approval to be. And so I've been after doing this for a little bit, I realized that when it comes to mortgage underwriting, there is a rule of twos that you need two of certain things always, right? So for example, you need to have been on your job for 2 years, right?
Okay.
Either the same job or in the same field. So, for example, I have a young man who worked for the Air Force, and now he teaches in schools, but he teaches ROTC. Now, mind you, the Air Force and teaching are not the same, not the same job, but because he's going from military to military, it is the same line of work,
Yeah.
right? So if you're a receptionist at Hair Cuttery and now you're a receptionist for Google, you're still a receptionist, so therefore it still counts, right? So we need 2 years in the same line of work. Um, you also I need two pay stubs. I need 2 months of bank account history. I need your last 2 years of W-2s, last 2 years of tax returns. So if you notice that there is a theme with the number two. So I want you all to always remember this number two when it comes to, well, first and foremost, because I'm not really talking to the agents right now, to my buyers, remember this rule of two when it comes to things, because that is what your mortgage professional is going to be asking you for. Hopefully, I'll be your mortgage professional, but if I'm not, that is what your mortgage professional should be asking you for is 2 months. So they just want to go back to twos, right? And so I know that a lot of times people say that things are too good to be true, but if you give over this documentation, then your pre-approval will be too good to be false, right? It'll be a pre-approval that is so airtight that we will cross the finish line together seamlessly.
I love that, Kelly. And no, girl, I'm too legit to quit too. And is my L right? I love how you shared that. Yes, yes. And connecting it to music is always a feel good situation and scenario. And the rule of twos. Okay, I love it. I'm a visual person, so that took me there very quickly. You landed it, girl. Okay, so Kelly, let's deep dive in this a little more. So, what is the documentation that is needed for someone who is a W-2 employee to get mortgage ready?
Okay. So if you are a W-2 employee, again, you will have to have been on your job or in the same line of work for the past 2 years. You need the last 2 years of W-2s, obviously, because you are a W-2 employee. I need your last 30 days of pay stubs. I know that that's not two, but typically that is two for people, right? Because most people get paid bi-weekly or they get paid twice a month. Again, if you get paid once a month, then I will just need one pay stub. But you know what? That doesn't go along with the rule of two, but you get it, right? And then lastly, what I'll need is the last 2 months of bank statements from the account that you will use for closing costs and your down payment. So if you have stocks that you need to liquidate, I need the last 2 months of your stock portfolio. If you have life insurance, I need the last 2 months of your life insurance. If it's coming from a savings account, I need the last 2 months of your statements from your savings or checking account. But wherever that down payment slash closing costs are coming from, I need those last 2 months. So that would be for a W-2 employee.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you for explaining that. And while we're speaking of W-2 employees and places that we get paid from, what about those powerpreneurs, those entrepreneurs, the people who are self-employed? What do they need to show?
So for the self-employed folks, I need the last 2 years of tax statements. Now, mind you, I know there are a lot of small business owners that write off everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything to the point where you barely have any income. And if that's the case, then I probably I still need your last 2 years of tax statements, but we may go with your last 2 years of bank statements, right? Because we might have to do a bank statement loan instead of a traditional loan. So again, even if I get your last 2 years of tax statements, I need your last 2 years of bank statements. And then also, if you've been in a business for 5 years, I only need 1 year of tax returns rather than 2 years of tax returns. And the reason being is because 5 years shows stability. Most businesses fail within the first 5 years. So if you've been in business making money for at least 5 years, I would only need 1 year of tax returns.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for sharing that. And we know that we have people out here in the world that have different ways that they are making money or showing that they make money or helping to take care of themselves and their families. What other sources of income can be used or considered when they're purchasing?
So something that I've been trying to preach the gospel on when it comes to income that people don't know is that if you are on Section 8, you can use your Section 8 voucher as income. Um, and yeah, like you can use your Section 8 voucher. You can use child support as income as long as it's paid from the same account I mean, as long as it's paid from the same account and monthly, and you can show it for the past the past 2 years, then yes. And as long as it'll go for at least 3 years more. So if the child is 17 and they're about to turn 18, then we can't use it. It has to go for at least 3 years in the future. You can use disability as income. So if you are a veteran and you receive disability or if you receive SSI, you can use that as income. You can also use your pension, obviously retirement as income. So these are non-conventional sources that don't deal with people who are necessarily getting a paycheck from a job, but getting paychecks from other sources.
Mhm. Mm. Well, thank you. I mean, that was definitely a valuable space to come and plug in, for those people who are going to commit to no longer making your landlord wealthy on your dime.
Exactly.
This is the conversation to sit in on, to share, and we are on YouTube. We are being social. So please, if you found this to be valuable, make sure that you like it, subscribe, share it to your people. This is Lenders Lounge. I am Makeba Evans, your global real estate professional. We have Kelly Martin, 49 states. She can take care of your mortgage needs, and she is your mortgage strategist. So thank you again for tuning in. We will see you again in these real estate streets. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Bye,
And
everyone. Thank you.